Okay, welcome back to part 3 of our little low poly hand tutorial series. So last time we left off, we had duplicated those fingers, roughly positioned them, and done a little bit of softening up of the hand here, adding a little bit more geometry to it. So what we're going to do now is attach those fingers properly to the hand, and then just wrap everything up, do some final tweaks, final adjustments, and some final polish with those freeform modeling tools. So let's move on to our next little step where we attach, and we won't get it all done very quickly. We'll have to do a little bit of clever stuff. So let's just see what we can do here. Here on our hand, let's go to polygon mode. We actually don't need these top 4 polys anymore. We can get rid of those. Let's just delete those. And now what we're going to do is we'll go to our edge mode, and we're going to start connecting these edges up to the fingers. Now I'm just looking here, there's a couple more that we can just sort of make our life a bit easier for, and just pull these in a little bit closer. Just balance these out a little bit there. Maybe pull you in there, just ever so slightly, and just a couple of edges that we missed last time around on our little smoothing out process. Just rounding those out so they're kind of closer to their related polygons up above. Now hopefully we've got these fingers rotated correctly. If not, we can always select the polygons and rotate them a bit further. Whoops. Let's just pull a few of these in. Wrong one. Pull a few of these in a little bit closer to those fingers. Again, we can always go back and fine tune later on, just to make life a little bit easier for us now. We also have maybe, let's just grow that. We're going to reposition these a little bit better so they're not sinking under the surface. And likewise on this ring finger, we're just a little bit under the surface there, a little bit further away than I would like. So just move that like so. And now we can start to connect these up. So it's kind of easiest here on the pinky and stuff now. We want to try and match these as best we can front and back. So you can see here the flat of the thumbnail is 8-sided. We've got these kind of 2 bottom sides, sort of the bottom side of the finger, so to speak, running all the way down to here. We want to connect these 2 polygons to these 2. So we're just going to select here and here and bridge those, and we're just going to do that front and back for all of our fingers. And when we get to the 2 furthest most fingers, the index finger and the pinky finger, we can actually continue that on round. With the way we've cut this hand up, we should have 8 for 8. Then we start doing the back, get the 2 in the back as well. So we're going to be left with this little gap here. That's okay, we'll fill that in later on. And we're going to be left with lots of very sort of skewed polys. That's okay, again, we can sort all this out later on. Let me see which ones do we want. We'll start with you in the front here. Here to here, here to here. Because of that little bit of twist, it's hard to necessarily know which one's the right one to go for. So I just turn around in the front again, where I knew exactly what polygon I wanted. And there we are, that one lines up there. So not too bad, we've got a little bit of a twist happening there. I might twist these fingers just a tiny bit more, just to line them up a little bit better. Oh, hang on, I've actually done one incorrect here. Aha, so this finger, that's why there's so much twist. I've actually put the wrong poly in the wrong place. Whoops. So let's just delete you guys. And this one should actually connect here. And that one there. That's better. Let's go down to our thumb. My thumb might just need repositioned a little bit better as well. I'm going to hit 4 on the keyboard just to select polygon mode. Select all around there. I'm just going to move these out just a little bit just so the edges aren't connecting. Now this time I'm not going to bridge them. I'm actually going to weld them, I think. And I'll stretch things a little, but then we can reposition them. So to weld them, we're going to go to vertex mode. I'm going to select the two vertices. Now these two are quite close to each other. So if I, let's do a target weld actually. Let's select this guy. Click him on there. Now we'll select this guy, weld him there. Not too big a movement. Target weld, we're always going 2 vertices at a time. And this is going to pull the first vertex to the second one. So just be aware of that. I might actually undo that, pull this one down closer to here. Alternatively, so target weld always pulls the first to the second. Instead, what we can do is we can select these two and then just hit the weld settings button, and if we just increase the weld threshold here, it'll kind of snap them both together in the middle. So if pulling one to the other kind of skews them too far, we can use the weld threshold and it'll go kind of the average distance between them. Sometimes that can be a better result. So there we are, that is that thumb nicely connected there. And again, a little bit of stretching of some vertices, we can play with that later on. We can fix these things. But what we want to get is these little gaps in here. So let's just top level and we'll move on and I'll show you how we're going to connect those. You will see that in here we are just going to connect the fingers themselves and we'll be left with these wee triangles which we can then fix afterwards. So edge mode again, and it's a little bit fiddly this process, so we're just going to bridge these two. Get those little triangles, bridge, very fiddly getting on these inner sides of the fingers. So we've bridged those, we have these little triangles. What do we do with these guys? I will show you on our next step. Let's pull over here. If I just remove that editable poly, you can see that we have just kind of a little ring going all the way around from both of these fingers. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our edge mode. In fact, we probably use a swift loop in this, but I'll just do it manually to be certain. We select those 3 edges in between those 2 fingers and we are going to connect them. Just hit connect, put a line down the middle. Select these three, line down the middle, and these three, line down the middle. Now we've got that line. Press 1 on your keyboard, choose vertex mode, and we are going to again weld these vertices to these ones. So let's just click weld. Sorry, target weld rather. Select view to there, this one to here, this one to here. And although they're not really positioned nicely at the minute, this is giving us a nice four-sided ring all the way around all of these fingers. So we've got a little bit of roughness happening here that we need to fix, but that's okay, that can be done very easily. The main thing is getting these fingers themselves connected correctly, and that gives us a nice topology to work with. So what we would do here is just start to take those vertices and just line these up. Let's deactivate target weld mode. For example, we'll just sink these down, just round that out a little bit, so they're not quite as big solid lines. We can maybe adjust these slightly more in the middle between them. That was not too bad, but there at the front we've got quite a distance happening. And on the back here, not too bad. Our main problem now is this this top line in front of the fingers. We've got this kind of a ledge where the top is too thick. That's okay, just take these one at a time and sort of flatten them down. Might be easier using edge mode for this actually. That'll make that look a lot nicer. And again, we can come back and use our soften tools, the freeform tools, to kind of soften these all out a little bit. There, that's a lot better already. A little bit of fine tuning needed, but not too bad. What we may also need to do is actually twist our fingers a little more. It might be that they're twisted just a little bit, one way or the other, a little bit skewed. And that's not too bad, but if I did want to do that, I could just try to select a solid ring of polys. So I'll hold the Alt key just to deselect these two, and then I could hit grow just to grow that down to there, and then I could further rotate that a little if I needed to. Again, go to my local alignment, and that would let me, just adjust that as I need to. Now I think that one was actually okay, so we'll not do too much. Maybe this middle finger could use just a slight adjustment. I think maybe actually this one could possibly be moved ever so slightly just this way. And then the middle finger itself could also just come this way a little bit. How are we on the back? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's okay. Maybe a little bit of twist there on that index finger. So let's select there, just hit grow once. Let's rotate that just the tiniest little amount. Yeah, we can see we've got a wee bit more twist on that finger. So just ever so slightly. Whoops. Now mine is going in increments of 5 degrees, which is probably too much, so I'm just going to turn off my angle snaps toggle, and that will allow me to change it even smaller amounts, like literally 1 or 2 degrees might be all we need here. Very, very slight. There we go. And of course what we can do again is with our push and pull. Now before I started this I would just save my model, and we can hold the shift key just to relax these all a little bit. Rather than me manually trying to position these, and you see how it's averaging out those distances, and it's making everything sort of a little bit nicer. And we'll do the same just around the thumb as well. The thumb's not too bad, there's a lot less geometry, a lot less moving parts to worry about there. One wee thing I will just do with the thumb though, I'll turn off that push and pull, maybe just say take these three and bring them down a little bit, like so, and this guy as well. And we'll just add in another wee swift loop in there on the modeling tab, swift loop, just to get that little knuckle in there. Turn on swift loop. Select edge mode. Let's just create that little knuckle now. Yeah, that will do. That'll be nice. We can work with that. And as always, we can use our relax tool on that. There we go. I am pretty happy with that. Now, there's one thing. If we turn off our wireframe overlay with F4, you can see that the palm of the hand looks okay, but down here at the wrist, we've all this weird stuff going on, and our fingers have these stripes. All looks very low poly. That's because our smoothing groups haven't been set yet. I'd kind of ignored that up until now, but now that we have everything connected, it's all one. Oh, turn off that push and pull. If I go to my polygon mode, let's just select absolutely everything. And in our smoothing groups, scroll all the way down. Here we are. We've got 4 or 5 different smoothing groups on there because we've got 4 or 5 different objects to begin with. Let's hit clear all, and then let's add just one smoothing group to this. And then that looks a lot smoother now. Everything looks like it belongs in one. So we could always do a little bit more fine tuning to this. One thing that we can do by F4 is add another turbo smooth. Now, depending on the target poly count you want to go for, you may not want that extra turbo smooth, but we can see that sort of smooths everything out very, very nice. Just one extra last wee thing we can do. I'm actually going to just remove that turbo smooth for now. I want to add a little bit more detail to those knuckles on the back, so let me move it down to our final stage here. If we look at this one, you can see we've got a little bit of more of a pattern going on the back of the knuckles, whereas this one's quite plain. So for that, we are going to add these little rings just to the back of our knuckles here, and that's very, very easy to do. It's that similar technique we used around the thumb earlier on. We're going to take each knuckle here. Let me see how far up do we come. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Whoops, wrong one. You turn off turbo smooth. So we're just going to come up to this first little cylinder ring on the fingers, and come down 3 polys. So that would be across these 6 polys. We're just going to add a little ring in there. So let's just use our friend the cut tool for this, probably the handiest. Let's go from the middle here and here to the middle, down here. Oh wait, no, wrong one. Undo. I started in the wrong place, apologies. We want to start up here. Cut from the middle across to here, down near the bottom, across. There we go. So we put that shape in the middle, and then we just connect these corners. So left click, stick on that dotted line. We can right click to start again. 2 left clicks and then a right click. Now where did that disappear? What is going on? Why do things keep going strange? Okay, that cut tool is not behaving. So we just select those 2 vertices and then hit connect. Easy peasy. So we want to do that for all 4, and we'll also just take a couple of these and just sort of reposition them just so they're not quite as square there, like that. So I'll pause the video, I will add those to the other fingers just so you can see the effect that we have. And I'll see you back here very, very shortly. So back again, there we are. I've just added those little knuckle pads to each of the fingers. And why I've added those is, if you look when you close your hands and then open them, your knuckles become more pronounced with a closed fist. This little extra bit of geometry will allow you to then rig in the bones so that these polys maybe jut out a little bit more and create more of a solid knuckle shape. So that'll be more for your animator's job, letting them do that, make it look nice, but we're just giving them the geometry to give them that option. You can see I've just sort of rounded up at the top there, each finger round at these edges, round at these bottom edges. And then really we've got the hand modeled perfectly now. It's just a case of you going around yourself at this point, maybe selecting some individual vertices and just smoothing things out. So this little guy here maybe just needs pulled up and in a little bit just to keep the loops looking a bit more smooth. In fact, this guy down here needs to come out a little bit more, smooth things out a bit better. Take 15-20 minutes just to fine tune everything. So for instance here I've got this very chunky kind of palm section. I'll just try to fix a few of those and just get that shape looking a little bit more hand-like really. Try and get the mask correct, but all the geometry is there. This is a good solid geometry that we can work with. In terms of unwrapping, I don't think we'll create an unwrap video for this because it's very, very simple. If you've watched any of my other tutorials before, you will be able to unwrap in your sleep. But I will just cover a few wee concepts to look at just to round this video out. When you unwrap, you kind of want your seams to be invisible, so on the least visible places. So how I would cut this, one potential way is literally just go up the sides of the fingers here. So along the side of the hand would be a good place to put a seam, because most people are either going to see the front of the hand or the back of the hand. You don't really pay much attention to the side, and that way it keeps the seams away from common view, and then we can put them in here between the fingers as well. And what we probably end up with is something a bit like a glove, where we have a front half and a back half, just 2 solid pieces, and we can splay those out nicely. So there we are. Let's turn off F4, see how that looks. Not too bad. A little bit more fine tuning, but just using those freeform tools, push, pull, relax, soften, we can just soften out a few of those harder edges, get something a bit smoother like what we have here. Also add that turbo smooth on, and that will help smooth things out as well. Let's just get a little look once more with the turbo smooth on. We can just add that right on top of our modifier stack. Turbo smooth, even just with one iteration. Yeah, that looks very, very nice. And you can see just those little dimples we had in earlier on to the fingers. We can even see we're getting a little bit of suggestion of those knuckles and the creases in the hand. And on the back as well, we're getting a little bit of a suggestion of those knuckles. The fingernails look quite nice, whether you use the fingernail version or not from earlier on. This gives us a good solid base that we can then take into the likes of ZBrush and sculpt some actual detail onto it, like some of the veins and the bones down the hand, or all the lines and crisscrosses that we would have here. So this would be our low poly model. This would be our in-game model. And we could make a more high-def version one, or just paint the textures in Substance Painter. But this is game ready. This will work. I'm just looking here. I think my thumb is it too big? Possibly a little bit too big. We can go back and fix that. Just trash that turbo smooth. Easy peasy to fix that thumb. We can just select these little guys here. We'll go local. That local doesn't actually help us very much, but let's just try and. Whoa, no. Yeah, we'll stay in view mode and we'll just try and eyeball it. Let's just shorten that thumb just a little bit. Not too. Oh, I had an extra vertex. Don't you hate when that happens? So then we'll select those, and we'll select all of these guys, and again just move them just down a bit. There, slightly smaller thumb, closer to what we want. And yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's go top level. Let's hide unselected. Nice solid hand. Wow, that took 3 videos in about 90 minutes. I did not think that would take so long. But thank you for watching, guys. Hope you learned from that. We had some nice techniques there, how to join up separate objects, how to add in those nice wee loops when we can't do a swift loop the whole way around, how to use our push and pull tools. So hopefully you learned some good stuff there, and I will see you for the next video series. Thank you very much.